Well, welcome back to our podcast on the power of humility. And as we approach the last few days, we're going to be today looking at releasing the need to be right. Relationships are among the greatest in life. They bring companionship, joy, support, understanding, and love. But relationships can also bring places where pride quietly takes hold. Many conflicts persist not because solutions are impossible, but because both sides are protecting ego. So we want to be understood before we can understand, and we want to defend ourselves, and we want to prove our point, and we want to win. And sometimes without realizing it, the need to be right becomes more important than the desire to remain connected. Humility invites us to another way. Humility asks, what am I missing? What pain is the other person carrying? And is being right more important than restoring connection? Because humility does not mean surrendering your principles. It means holding them in with compassion. And the Bible repeatedly teaches that humility strengthens relationships. See, the Apostle Paul wrote this. He said, be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing one another in love. Ephesians 4:2. Notice that. Humility, gentleness, patience and love. These are not signs of weakness. They are signs of spiritual maturity. And the book of Proverbs also teaches that a gentle answer turns away wrath in Proverbs 15:1. So often conflict escalates not because of the issue itself, but because pride intensifies the exchange. So humility interrupts that cycle. And if we're honest, there are moments when our first instinct in conflict is self-protection, to explain, justify, or to defend. So sometimes we can listen only enough to prepare our response, and sometimes we become more focused on proving our intentions than understanding another person's hurt. So perhaps you know this experience too. Conflict can feel threatening, especially when criticism touches our identity. But humility reminds us that being corrected does not diminish our worth, and understanding another person's perspective does not erase our own. Relationships flourish when understanding matters more than victory. This does not mean avoiding truth. It means approaching truth with compassion. Humility allows us to pause and ask, what is this person feeling? What fear or pain may be beneath these words? And what part of this conflict belongs to us? These questions soften defensiveness. They create space for empathy. So as the Apostle James wrote, everyone should be quick to listen and slow to speak, and slow to become angry. James 1:19. Humility slows us down. It creates room for understanding before reaction. See, Jesus and relational humility. Throughout the Gospels, Jesus Christ, the central figure of Christianity, modelled humility in relationships. He corrected people without humiliating them, and he spoke truth with compassion. He extended grace when misunderstanding. So on the cross, in the midst of the suffering, Jesus prayed, Father, forgive them. That's in Luke 23:34. And this is one of the deepest examples of humility and mercy ever expressed. See, humility does not ignore wrongdoing, but it refuses to let bitterness become stronger than compassion. So one of the most courageous acts in any relationship is a sincere apology. Not an apology that excuses, not an apology that shifts blame, but an honest acknowledgement. I was wrong. I hurt you. I should have handled that differently are the questions that come up. So pride resists these words. Humility embraces them. And often healing begins there. See, our ego asks, how do I protect myself? But humility asks, how do I protect the relationship? Ego focuses on winning, but humility focuses on understanding. Ego hardens while humility softens. And this softness is not weakness, it's a strength under control. So can you recall a recent conflict? Perhaps a disagreement with a spouse, a misunderstanding with a friend, tension with a colleague, or distance within your family. And now ask yourself, what truth might the other person hold? And where did my ego intensify the problem? And did I truly listen? What assumptions did I make? And what apology or acknowledgement is needed? What would reconciliation require from me? So sit down with these quiet questions and allow honesty and compassion to work together. Today, offer a sincere apology where one is needed, or just ask somebody, can you help me understand your perspective? See, listen without interrupting, without defending, without preparing your response. Just simply listen. And notice how humility changes the atmosphere of the conversation. It's a reflection on grace. Healthy relationships are not built by perfect people. They are built by people willing to repair, willing to forgive, and willing to soften, and willing to grow. So as the Apostle Paul wrote, clothe yourself with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Colossians 3:12. These qualities create the foundation of lasting connection. So Lord, teach us to value relationships more than our ego, and teach us humility to listen, the courage to apologize, the wisdom to respond gently, and the compassion to understand the pain of others. Help us realize the need to win, help us release the need to win every argument, and guide us towards peace, reconciliation, and love. Amen. You see, the strongest relationships are built by people willing to soften. As you move through your day, may humility guide your conversation, may compassion shape your response, and may your relationships become a place of grace, honesty, and healing. So thank you for joining me on day 6 of the power of humility.